Every single hobby is one key decision away from becoming a business. This show is about how to make that decision and where to start. Welcome to the Cheeseburger Lens, everyone. My name is Jorge Arteta, and on this show, we talk about turning your hobby into a profession. Our guest this week is Mark Russell. Mark, welcome to the show, and so glad to have you. Mark is so experienced as a videographer, and he's going to share his story about how he turned a hobby into his career today. Mark, how are you today?
Doing good, George. Doing good. You know how it is. Us camera guys don't like to be behind a microphone. So
you are called to talent today.
I'm here in protest. But
so let's help other people out there that are looking to change a hobby into a profession. But let's tell a little cool story about you. Mm-hmm. How about your newest pet that you have at home?
My newest pet, my little kitty cat. I got a kitty. I got a little kitty. Her name is Dax, and she was found on the street. And by some friends, and they were like, hey, we got this cat. You want this cat? No, I don't want another cat. But I met the cat, and the cat chose me, and now it's like I've got a cat now, and she's awesome.
She is, and she's been running around the studio here, and it's just so fun.
She is the studio cat. It's Dax, the studio cat, and people love her. We just had a client. We had a client here. We were, giving a tour. And all of a sudden she came running out, and oh my God, look at the little kitty cat! And all of a sudden, yeah, we're gonna book here. We like it here, so
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Mark, you've had an extensive career, and you've seen a lot of different things. How did you start your hobby way back when, and how did it come to where we are today?
My hobby started. Real simple story. Back when I lived in Baltimore, I take it back, Pennsylvania. We moved from Baltimore, Pennsylvania. I was probably about 12 years old, and we had an international exchange student, and he had a camera. I think it was a Minolta camera at the time, and I was like, this is really cool. It was a 35 millimeter, very simple 35 millimeter camera, and let me put 2 pictures on it. And then when the pictures came back, I was like, it was just cool. I was hooked on cameras at that point in time.
So what did you do next? What was your next thing after you started, doing a lot of photography and stuff? And then where did it go from there? This is during high school you were?
Yeah, it's from high school. My brother Scott, for my birthday, bought me a Minolta X370, I think is what it was. And I love that camera. I think that camera was the bomb. I loved it. And so I started doing pictures and stuff. I took pictures of the track team, the football team at school, and I just went crazy. I just started taking pictures all the time. Once I graduated high school, I wanted to pursue photography as a professional. And so I submitted to a company in California to be a photographer. I sent all my pictures and stuff. And they wrote back to me and said, get a Nikon.
Oh.
I won't forget that.
That's
Your
funny.
pictures are good, but you need to be on a Nikon. So I didn't get the job, but I did. I was working a construction job for the entire summer. And I ended up buying a Nikon FA at the end of the summer. That was the craziest thing I ever could do, because it was like $500. And, back in the 80s, it was like, a mail order, you had to use cash on delivery, a COD. So I gave my dad the money because I wasn't going to be home, and gave him $500, and I got my Nikon FA.
Wow, how cool is that?
Yeah.
How much different was the Nikon compared to the Minolta?
A lot more controls.
Okay.
Yeah, the Minolta was a good camera. It was a good kid camera. It really was. I mean, it was a neat camera. I still have it, by the way.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And it, but when you went to a Nikon, you had all these other manual gadgets. You could really deep dive into it and really finite the settings on that camera. So it was a big difference.
Very cool. So
Yeah.
how did you get from Pennsylvania to Florida?
Basically. You want the long version? You want the short version? A lot. I'll do the abridged version here.
There
for
you go.
Started. I did 1 year of college. Didn't really like college too much. There was one aspect of college I loved. We'll talk about. I'm sure you're gonna throw that question at me soon. And so anyway, I was madly in love with this girl I was dating, but it didn't work out. And so after the breakup, I was just like, there was nothing for me in Pennsylvania. And so a friend of mine had just moved to Florida. He was becoming a nuclear physicist. So he had a room available, and he said, it's available if you want it. So I just packed up my car and drove to Florida one day.
Wow. And then you ended up at Jacksonville University.
Well, Jacksonville was prior to that. That was my college education. Yeah, my college was at Jacksonville University. That was, shit, George, I'm sorry. I jumped the gun there. I went way ahead the timeline there. Let's go back a little bit, shall we? Okay. Jacksonville was first. As soon as when I graduated high school, I spent a year working at a print company. And then,
let's start over.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I messed it up. Okay, we're going to do an edit there.
Okay.
Where are we taking it from? Sorry, I messed up.
We're going to take it from...
another clap. So, yeah, that way I know.
All right, where she could see it. Clap.
Oh, trust me, I can see it.
I'll take it from... So, how did you get from Pennsylvania to Florida?
So...
give me a second. Right?
Yeah, sure.
So how did you get from Pennsylvania to Florida?
I got a brochure in the mail from a school called Jacksonville University.
Okay.
And I was looking at schools, and Florida, Florida was Walt Disney World and everything was down here. So I was like, I'll go to Florida. And so I applied for Jacksonville University and got accepted. And I went to JU and I took a commercial art class while I was there.
Now, something else that you did at Jacksonville University. Tell us about rowing crew.
Crew, yeah. So in high school, I ran track.
Okay.
And I was pretty good. I actually made the nationals, which was really pretty awesome. So I enjoyed track immensely. They didn't really have a track team at Jacksonville University. They had a golf team, but I wasn't really interested in going golf. But then I saw this thing for crew. They were taking tryouts for the crew team. And it was on a boat. And you row. That sounds kind of cool. Right. So anyway, I did tryouts, and I made the cut. And I became part of the junior varsity with Jacksonville crew, and it was amazing. We rowed shells. I was an 8-man shell and a 4-man shell, and we traveled all over the country with competitions all over the country, rowing a boat on a river or a lake.
That is
awesome.
so
It was
cool.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's not something you hear about all the time either, right?
No, it's a very unique sport. I mean, it's definitely an elite sport. There's no doubt about that. Most people who do crew actually become very successful because it's such a disciplined sport. And we rowed against Harvard, we rowed against Yale, and they kicked our ass. But they were amazing. I mean, they really those are it was fun.
So I like what you said about the discipline and the work ethic of crew. You can apply that to a lot of other different things, and when we talk about your career here in a little bit, it'll start to show that your work ethic and all that stuff. So maybe a little credit to the crew back then.
Of course.
Nice that you actually went there and tried out for the crew.
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. Glad I got on. It was a blessing, no doubt about it.
How did the commercial art major part of it help you in establishing more knowledge and understanding of video and photography and everything?
Commercial art was good because commercial art taught me how to look at things differently. I'll be honest with you, the commercial art was okay. I mean, I was a pretty decent artist at that time, and I learned a little bit, not a whole lot, in commercial art. Where I really learned a lot was art history. Art history classes where I had a really great professor, and art history taught me about we learned about the Fibonacci rule. We learned the rule of thirds, the golden rule, Michelangelo stuff, and those things just really helped me be more disciplined in my field of art. Helped me actually how to do compositions better, because now I can look at a scene and say, okay, that's not balanced. I need to move this person this way and this here and get that balance. Always, everything we do, everything we shoot, everything we do in life is based on that golden rule. If it's not, it's imbalance and nothing. It feels off.
Yeah, very true. So you go through Jacksonville University, and then what happened next?
I went back home for about a year or two, and I wasn't sure where I wanted to go, and then I realized, I'd like to go to Disney. I want to work in the animation department because I had photography, but I also had my artwork as well.
Yeah.
And so I just packed up the car one day. A friend of mine was already moving down here, and I moved down with him. I moved in with him.
Wow. And you got into Disney, and what did you do at Disney?
Found out. Getting an animation at Disney at that time, very, 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 very difficult. I mean, it's only the best of the best get to do that. So I didn't get into animation. Several of my, I'm jumping ahead again. So what happened was it was either pack it up and go back home or find something else to get a job to stay in Florida. I wanted to stay in Florida. I liked it here.
Yeah.
So I auditioned for a tour guide at MGM Studios, which is now Hollywood Studios. And so I actually got the job as a tour guide at Disney MGM Studios at the time.
Wow. And this is where we start to do some name dropping, if I might. some of the names here, folks, that Mark has dealt with, and I'll let you expand on some of this stuff.
Sure.
But let's throw out NSYNC.
Yeah.
Let's throw out Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Let's throw out Britney Spears, which is a great story.
Very great story. Yeah.
Bob Hope.
Your
idea and your mindset of Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
we'll put that into play here.
We
got some SpaceX down the road here, and then we got some other things. But tell us about some of these experiences with these celebrities, Mark.
Disney was a portal. It took me into a completely different world. I mean, I was a farm kid from Pennsylvania, and it was just I went to a completely different world. So Disney, as a tour guide, we got to do the tours of the studios and things like that. Well, then they had this program called cross utilization, and that allowed us to work in production. And so any production was going on at the studios, we could work as production assistants, PAs.
Oh, wow.
And so anyway, I cross-utilized several different jobs, and I got to work with some pretty amazing people. Like you mentioned Bob Hope. That was at the Pleasure Island. So I was a PA at Pleasure Island doing something. They were doing a little piece with Bob Hope over there. Super nice guy. I mean, really amazing man. And then I worked my way up to a coordinator. So I was cross-utilizing now as a coordinator. Coordinator, basically, they're the ones who take care of scheduling all the crews and camera guys and the locations for the talent and the crews to meet to do certain shots on property. And I got to work with NSYNC at that time, and they were a pretty cool bunch of guys. As for the Backstreet Boys, because of my photography, I was a tour guide with another gentleman by the name of Kevin Richardson, and Kevin needed headshots, so he asked me to do his headshots one day. And I said, yeah, heck yeah, I'll do that for you, absolutely. And this is before Backstreet Boys. And I said, so I took his headshots, and then all of a sudden, Kevin just left. He no longer was with the tour. He just just disappeared. And I'm like, yeah, what happened to Kevin? And then I realized 6 months later, there's Kevin, Backstreet Boys, performing. Wow. Anyway, so apparently the headshot I did for him, he used to get his audition for Transatlantic Records.
Really?
So the headshot I shot for him was used for his audition at Transatlantic Records.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
You really impact somebody's life.
Oh, hell yeah.
As a photographer,
There's
right?
a bunch of people. Yeah, a lot of folks I took some pictures of, worked with people that have done very well for themselves. Yeah.
Wow.
Very well.
And then did you still keep in touch with Kevin at all?
No,
did
Kevin.
You ever get to see him down the road?
It was before. I mean, back in the '90s, we didn't have Facebook and all that kind of stuff, and so he rose. I mean, he's done amazing for himself, but it's not one of those things where you can actually, hey Kevin, you remember me? I took a picture. Yeah,
that'd be cool though. If
it would be very
that,
cool,
right?
but it'd be great. But it's okay. I understand how the industry works, and I totally get it.
Right. Okay. So let's hear the story about Britney Spears.
Britney Spears is a fun one. Yeah. So I was a coordinator, and Britney was doing a concert on the back lot of the MGM Studios, the old New York Street we had down there. And she had been in, I think, a ski accident where her leg got hurt, so she couldn't walk. So me and another PA, I remember the producer said, we need to get her up on stage. How are we going to get her up there? And one of the other producers was like, well, can we just carry her up? And they said, well, those two guys can do it, you know. And so the strapping young lads, they can carry Britney up to the stage. And we're like, okay, you know. And so we had to pick up Britney, underneath, her backside, both of us like this, and we carried her up, lowered her into her chair. Wow. Britney does her concert. We go back up, we pick Britney up, and we carry her down.
Wow. These arms.
She was very sweet. I thought Britney was. We got to hang out. I didn't really get to know her, but we hung out in the green room with her for a while, and I thought she was a sweetheart. Very, very sweet. Very nice.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And can you share with us one of your favorite stories? You've mentioned to me that this was one of your favorite projects that you've ever worked on. How about dropping the name Rick Springfield?
Rick Springfield, yeah, a few years back. He did a documentary, and it was on Netflix, and it was a great documentary. A dear friend of mine, Carrie Crone Schmitz, and she was one of the producers on it, and she needed somebody to film a promo video for the documentary. So the idea they had was Rick in a subway in New York playing guitar.
Pretty cool.
I'm on it. Let's do it. So they flew me up to New York. The movie had already been shot. They were promoting the video at the I can't remember the name of it. I forgot the name of it, but there's a theater up there very famous for playing, films, self-made films.
Okay.
Anyway, we get in the subway. I meet Rick, and Awesome guy, totally awesome. Did not ask him about Jesse's Girl. I asked him about Battlestar Galactica because he's in Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
He's a big sci-fi guy.
Okay.
So if you want to make points with Rick, you talk about sci-fi with him.
Okay.
Don't talk about, just talk about, he loves sci-fi. The
Wow.
he's a great sci-fi guy. Mic'd him up, and then we go down into the subway, starts doing his guitar, and there's like nobody around, and all of a sudden somebody realizes it's Rick Springfield, and then a big mob of people.
Wow.
I got a picture of it. I'll send you pictures so you can put it on there.
Very cool.
And so anyway, then we literally jumped onto a train, went to another station. He jumps out, he starts playing his music again. So we were all over Manhattan, just jumping in and out of subways and him playing his songs.
Wow.
He was cool.
That is
was
so
really
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
So what prompted you to leave Disney?
I decided just to go off on my own. I learned a lot in video and photography, and then there was a production house that needed a editor and shooter, and so I took the job with them and decided to work with them, and I learned a lot from those guys. Yeah, it was a good company. And then after that, I got a job with an ad firm, and I worked with an ad firm for a little bit, and I learned a lot from them. So, and then after that, I started my own company, Iron Pixel Media. And I started the company in 2007.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was it what was a moment or a situation, or do you remember the day, Mark, when you said to yourself, I got to go out on my own. I want to do this. Like, what prompted that, or what happened for you do you remember?
I saw how much money they were making.
Okay.
They were making a lot off the work I was doing, a lot. And so I was like, I can do this. I know I can do this. And so I decided to go off on my own and do my own thing. So yeah, I provided my own service. I provided the video service, editing service, photography service. It was a one-stop shop for all those things. And I've been very fortunate. I've got some really good clients, and they've flown me all over the world, shot a lot of stuff, videotaped a lot of stuff, edited a lot of stuff, and it's been pretty awesome.
Cool. What kind of stories can you give us about Iron Pixel Media in terms of what you shot or seen there?
Let's see. I've shot rockets. I've been up close to rockets. I've been underneath, ships that weigh 250,000 tons. I've been in a dry dock while they work on what's called an osteopod, is the propeller system in the back of a ship. So we've documented, that. I've been on mountains. I've hung out with helicopters. I shot, I think, for a school in Utah, and this is before we had before drones were big. So we would actually get into a helicopter with what's called a they call it the pillbox. It was like these three large pill-shaped devices that spun at like 5,000 rounds per second or per minute, and it created a gyro system. Camera sit on top of that. We go up in a helicopter and we shoot off of this device.
Oh wow!
And I'll never forget my first time doing that. I remember I was with the guy, and he says, "Hey, Russ, listen, when you're up there shooting, make sure you tape your belt buckle." And I'm like, why? Because you camera guys are always like moving around, and your elbow hits it, and your belt buckle comes off. You fell out of the helicopter, so tape your belt buckles. I remember strapping in and taping my belt buckle with gaff tape.
And you really didn't need it. You found out.
No, I didn't need it. Thank God.
Oh, okay.
No, I was okay.
But just in case.
No, just in case. So that's
Gotcha.
yeah. I've had some pretty cool jobs, really cool jobs. I've been all over the world, so it's been awesome.
So in regards to actually starting the business, if we can get a little bit into the weeds, what were some of the things that you had to deal with that you didn't deal with before as a regular employee, and what are some of the things maybe on the legal side that people should watch out for, and what kind of stuff was very challenging and then maybe you could get help if you wanted to today?
Got it. Okay. The biggest thing, and I tell this to everybody getting into the business, first of all, make sure when you get that big check, because as a freelancer, you're not taking the taxes out. They're giving you it's a 1099, and they're paying you, the money. They're not taking anything out. So right away, take 25% of that and put that into something on the side, because that's going to be your taxes end of the year. Because it's so easy to spend that money. You're like, oh wow, this is cool. I'm going to buy a brand new camera. Don't do that. Make sure you put some off to the side. The other thing is is liability insurance. You've got to get liability insurance, because if you out there and you drop a camera on somebody, well, guess what? They sue you, and they take your house. It's gone. Third thing is make sure you have a company. Don't do it yourself. Don't use your social and make that your business. Get an LLC. Create a veil that protects your home, your family, everything. Because people love to sue. I mean, look at all the billboards out there. So protect yourself, because that way if something happens, have that, defense system, the liability insurance, separate company to protect it.
How did you go about the marketing and trying to keep the best thing businesses could have is a repeat client, right? Repeating clients.
Yeah,
And, I owned a golf business before, and
Right.
that was the best thing I could have done is had repeat customers.
Yeah.
What did you do to try to keep your customers coming back to you?
Well, take care of them. I always treat my customers like it's the first time working with them. In this business, it's easy to if you got a regular client, it's very easy to say, oh, don't worry, they won't mind. They're my regular client. I can put them off for a little while. They'll be fine. No, you don't do that. You treat them like the first time client every time. That's important. Always treat them like a first time client. It's again, you take them for granted. If they keep coming back to you, you might take them for granted. Don't ever do that. You treat them like they are brand new. They are your number one client. You take care of them.
Yeah. Very cool. What is something that you did at Disney that you learned that you still do to today? Can you tell us about that?
Had to go there, didn't you? Trash. I still pick up trash. Yeah, it's Disney's. I remember traditions, as they taught you about, take pride in your environment. And so anytime you walk through the park, we'd pick up trash. That's what we did. And that's I haven't worked for Disney in over 20 years, and I still do that. I still I'll be walking in the park and I see some trash, I'll pick it up and put it in a trash can. I still do the point thing. Disney teaches you not to do one finger. It's see, it's this.
Wow.
Over there, and I still do that. Yeah.
Well, can you imagine if everyone picked up trash, just one trash at a
Oh,
time?
it'd be glorious.
It'd be a cleaner world, right?
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, don't get me started on that.
So that's a great thing to hear that you're doing that.
It's funny, and what's really bizarre about that is when I pick up trash in a parking lot or something like that, I get the weirdest look from people. Why is he doing that? Why am I not doing that? It's everybody should do that.
Yeah, exactly. Help save the world, everybody. Let's one trash at a time.
Do your part. If you see piece of trash, just pick it up, put it in the trash can, and wash your hands right afterwards too.
Right.
Very important.
How about something else that's pretty cool that you've been working on lately? SpaceX. Can you explain what SpaceX is and what you're doing with
SpaceX is awesome. I can't talk too much about it, but
what you can, sure.
I have a client, and we're building some video packages. And it's basically for an event and something they're doing for their employees. So we're building these little packages for them and things like that. And geez, man, SpaceX. Wow, I love SpaceX. I just getting to go there to the main office, to the office, and seeing these people, these engineers, and these incredible people that are just doing remarkable things. And I was in awe. I really was. I was in awe by the whole project. I think Elon Musk has done a fantastic job with the SpaceX.
That's really cool. What is one of your favorite things about owning your own business?
Favorite thing? Calling the shots.
Okay.
You make the decisions, and there's a saying, an entrepreneur is someone who works 90 hours a week, so they don't have to work for somebody else for 40 hours a week.
Right.
And you see me, I work a lot of hours, but they're my hours. I choose it. I choose to work those hours. It's mine, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of my business. I'm proud of the work we do, and even though I do put an ungodly amount of hours into it, it's my decision.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's very rewarding. So you went from Iron Pixel Media to Central Florida Studios, and I was here with you the other day, and you guys had there was a lighting workshop here.
Yes.
It really was more than just lighting workshop. Can you explain to everybody what kind of workshop it was? Because I thought it was one of the coolest things.
It was awesome. So what it is first of all, it's the Central Florida Studios is basically, it's our co-op, which you are now part of, which I'm glad to have you on board, by the way. You're awesome. Everybody likes you. My girlfriend's like, George is really cool. And I know.
Thanks.
Tone down the coolness, man. You can't be cooler than me. Stop it. Tone it down. Right. Tone it down, man. And then we've got Corbin, and Corbin Huggins, who's basically our VFX guy. So we've got, between the three of us, I think we got a lot covered. I mean, you're the photography guy, which is great. So we got Central Florida Studios, which is this facility, Central Florida Studios. But we have our companies, which Iron Pixel Media is mine under the roof here. And so we decided to do some classes, and we thought a friend of mine said, hey, you should do a lighting class. And so we invited Gerald Wu and Mike Walsh, who have worked in the industry, major budget films. And we actually set up, Mike actually is a gaffer, and he's also a director. And he basically came in and showed how to do lighting on a set for a motion picture. And people are loving it.
Yeah,
it's great.
For sure.
Gerald, who's his director, that's his forte. So he's teaching everybody about the cameras, about directing, about the protocols on set. How you basically, if the director says action, we got the audio guy does sound speeds, and then go A and B camera speeding, and that whole thing. It was cool. I mean, people really liked it. Got a lot of good feedback on it. So people want to do some more of that stuff, and we're going to do more.
Yeah, the fact that you can share your knowledge like that with others in the world. Most of the people there were up and coming in their industry, and then and trying to find out how different things and learning all that.
And if I can add on, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If I add on to that, it's awesome that we are offering these things for people to learn. Because when I was in my Disney days, all right, those guys wouldn't teach us anything. Nothing, because they were worried about us taking their jobs.
Wow.
And rightfully so. I get that. But the thing is, I don't follow that philosophy. I want these kids, anybody coming here, I want them to be really good at what they do. There's plenty of work out there for everybody. There really is.
Yeah.
And if they get their own client, for example, I know some people I've worked with, and now they're a producer level, and now they call me when they need stuff. All right, that's why I take care of people. Like, be good to people. Show them how it works. It doesn't hurt you if they do well, because that could come back to you in a good way.
Yeah, I love that. I love the sharing of the knowledge and stuff, because you'll see them come back. It's fun and rewarding to see people develop.
Yes.
Right, and I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So, what kind of future plans are there for your future?
A cabin, North Carolina, with a nice little lake, and a nice drink in my hand, and just rocking on a rocking chair.
There you go.
I want to be a snowbird so bad. I want to be a snowbird. That was.
But between now and then.
Yeah. Well, that was the reason for the studio. I mean, this, we're talking about, new adventures, new endeavors and things like that. This studio is an endeavor. I'm 59 now, and I've shot reality shows. I've shot everything. I've done conventions. I've done movies, and I've gotten to a point now. It's like, you know what? I want to have like a place where people come to us, and it kind of works all by itself. So we started this thing 2 years ago. And I think we built it up pretty good. I mean, everybody comes in here and thinks it's amazing. They love our studio, and now we've got you coming on board. I've got, I got some really good editors coming on board now. They're working with me now. I got Sam. I've got Thomas. I've got Marion, who's a great script supervisor. I've got Jamie, who's an amazing director. I've got people now that actually, are doing a lot of this work I don't have to do anymore, and it's wonderful. I love it. So I'm enjoying just getting people to a point where now it's almost like perpetual motion. The place runs by itself is where I want to get it.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What, if you could, Mark,
Yes.
if you can give one piece of advice for all those people that are out there thinking about that hobby and making that one decision to turn into a business, what is something that you would advise them?
Well, my advice is be careful, because your hobby is fun. It's passion. It's great. It's a blast. When it becomes a job, it changes drastically. It becomes a job. And it can suck the life of that passion out of you, and it becomes a job. So you got to keep that creativity somehow. When you do your job, try to keep your creativity in there. Try to keep it going. Make sure you control the narrative. Don't let people control you. Things like that. But just be ready. It does change quite a bit, and you got to stick to it. You'll hit some hard times where you're just like, I quit. I'm done. I'm done with this. You can't do that. You need to, you have to go. Also, your prices. Don't lower your prices. Just because you're worried somebody's not going to give you the job. In fact, I did something a couple years ago. I learned a valuable lesson from it. I was lowering my prices. I was doing video work. I was lowering my prices. The next thing I was working around the clock. I wasn't making any money, and so finally I said, you know what? I'm going to raise my prices to what they're worth, and see what happens. And I kept getting the jobs. And so if it's a job you don't really want to do, charge even more for that. Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got this guy who wants me to do this job. I really don't want to do it. Well, you know what? Charge more for it, because that way, if you get the job, at least you're making good money at it, and you feel better about that.
Right.
Yeah. But my advice is just stay the course, study your craft, make sure you know your craft. Treat your clients with respect, treat your crew with respect, even the PAs, and just have fun and do a good job.
Yeah. Well, Mark Russell, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah.
We are very, very privileged and happy that you got to join us. And what a story, all the stories and all the adventures that you've had.
Thanks, George.
And wish you nothing but the best in the future. Everyone, this is the Cheeseburger Lens. My name is George, and we are very glad that you joined us today. We will see you the next time.